What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about 2025 quarterback class. It's never too early to start scouting these guys, and we have a full season under our belt for some of these guys to start talking about what do these rankings go through. So we're going to go through the top 5 according to Devy out here at the channel. Then we'll go into some radar prospects, kind of look at. And this class is it's fun. It's deep. I think it's a lot of fun to kind of look at. So we're going to go through scouting, a little bit of that. We got a little bit of video, too, to show you some guys that you may have not seen before on the 25 class and just kind of how we rank these guys. So if you're in Devy, if you love college football, just anything and above, stick around to the video. Make sure you like and subscribe it while the intro video is going, and then we'll dive into the content. All right, let's get into it. Let's start talking about the 2025 quarterbacks and just look at overall. So there's Cade Klubnik. We're not going to talk about him just yet, but we will. But first up is going to be Drew Allar. So he's our quarterback one consensus Penn State kid. Drew, I thought should have played more last year. So when you're looking at just the numbers and the stats and everything there, I think he should have played more. 6'5", 242, 35 completions, 60 attempts, 58% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And when he did get in the game, so he looked good at times. Rutgers probably was his best game. Indiana, again, 9 for 12, 75 yards there. Didn't get a lot of run. Against Michigan, he came in there a little bit, 5 for 10, 37 yards. I thought he looked pretty good in that game. But moving forward, he looks like he's going to be the kid. And when you just look at talent, perspective, you want to watch some fun, go watch his high school tape. His high school tape is ridiculous. This year, he's shown that he's coming into a Penn State team that's going to be absolutely loaded. So I think Penn State's got it. And I'm a Michigan fan. I love the Big Ten. I know Ohio State's going to be there. Penn State's going to challenge them, both teams. I did just offensively, man. Just look at what they've been able to do, whatever they've been able to grow. And when you're looking at running backs, Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton, they got those two kids. Wide receiver-wise, they got Dante Cephas coming in. Keandre Lambert-Smith is back. Caden Saunders is another kid to watch. Harrison Wallace III, Amari Evans. You're looking at all those guys. Lean Clifford. They've got dudes out there coming in. That recruiting class is pretty good. They've shored up their offensive line. Drew Allar is going to be that kid that going forward that you're like, damn, this kid is really good and special. And he's the quarterback one. And you can make an argument that he's going way too low in some of the Devy drafts that we're doing, because I think talent-wise, he might be the kid to bet on in those later parts of the draft. So just for perspective in terms of Devy, where he's going right now, 206, that's not bad. Late second, guys like Arch Manning going ahead of him. No, thank you. Give me Drew Allar in that. Now, as far as scouting goes, what he does well, I think his arm strength. He's got some of the best arm out there that probably of this class. Good velocity. Gets the ball out quick, dials it back fast. He's smooth in his delivery. Kind of get it to any spot on the open field. There's a lot of things that you love about his arm. Off-platform throws have always been a trademark of his. Getting out, functional athleticism, getting out to the boundary, pushing it down the field. There's things that he does that are special with his arm. As long as Franklin doesn't ruin him, he's going to be the quarterback one in this class. I really believe that. Now, weaknesses, I think processing at times, but that's just one of those things he's going to get better at with reps. He just doesn't have a ton of reps on his area in college. So he'll get there. I think processing, one of those things that they talked about in his game because of the speed and understanding processing. Now, you did see that a little bit. So I will say this about his processing against Michigan and some other things. He made some throws that you wish you could have had back. And I think that this is a processing, getting into the system stuff, but he's got talent now. I think Cephas is going to play a big role in that talent. So just overall, very, very solid prospect when you're looking at this class as far as hey, QB1 moving forward. He's got the talent around him. He's got the best offense around him. He's legitimately the guy, right? I think there's a clear tier here. I think it's Allar. I think that's the tier when you're looking at this class. Now, as far as 2 goes, this might be a little controversial, but I don't mind being out there a little bit. Connor Weigman was my number 2 quarterback coming into the class, and he's staying there for me right now. I thought he came in and performed pretty well on a shitty offense at Texas A&M. Let's be real. We're real on this channel. It was shitty. Now, moving forward, what is that going to look like, right? So he's got 5 games last year. He had 896 yards. He had 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. He got the ball out quick. Now, his completion percentage wasn't great, but he was getting asked. That really came from one game. The Auburn game, he was 14 for 36. Other than that, very efficient. When you're looking at it in the 60% category, I thought he looked good at times in an offense that was not good, right? So, and I think the real key factor here for him and Texas A&M as a whole. They kept Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart is really good. They brought in Bobby Petrino. And whether you think Bobby Petrino is good or not in terms of just like whether you like him as a person, he's a pretty good offense coordinator. And I think that if he can kind of get them settled, especially with that quarterback position, and get Connor in there, get the ball to the playmakers, kind of reinvent themselves after Jimbo kind of didn't, right? I think Connor being there, I think he's got the frame, he's got the size, he's got everything that you like to see, right? So when you're looking at what he does well, I highlighted this before. He's got pretty good athleticism, sneaky athleticism, right? So when you're looking at what he can do outside the pocket, inside the pocket, moves up, really, really good under pressure. When release, I think it's really good. I think he gets out quick, and his arm strength goes with that. And he targeted the hell out of Evan Stewart, and he knew where his guys were. So for me, I'll take that in terms of awareness. Like, hey, he knows where his playmakers are. It gets the ball out to the numbers, can get it to the outside. And now when you're projecting these guys in the NFL, I think one thing is, can he make NFL throws? And he can. He's got an NFL arm. So, like, that makes me less nervous about him as a prospect, right? So when you're looking at this and trying to project these things out, hey, that makes me less nervous because I think he can make the throws. Now it's the other stuff, the auxiliary stuff that you're looking at as a quarterback position, right? Now, weaknesses, I think his offense, again, can Pacino come in and fix that mess, right? So when you look at Texas A&M offense, will they be able to fix it? Okay. And if they are able to fix it, then that'll look good for him moving forward. Like, that is just one of those things that you have to look at and understand. Now, mechanics can get a little wonky. Like, when you're looking at him, I don't think he gets his hips crossed. I think sometimes that he's got, a little bit of happy feet. I think that offensive line struggled a little bit for him. And there was just really no time. And so mechanics has been something they've highlighted since his senior year of high school. I don't know if it got very much better. And I think that's something we got to go forward in this offense with Jimbo and Petrino. Like, they've got to work on that and get him ready for the next level. Decision-making too. And I wouldn't say last year, because I thought, now, he did get away with some interceptable balls. Like, when you watch that Alabama game and some of those games there, like, there was some balls that should have been picked. He had a tendency to just throw it up and let his playmakers go get work. Now, I like that. I like that little kind of that, as the kids would say, the dog in him in terms of like, hey, I'm going to go let my guys make that play. But again, you got to do a little bit better, especially the next level. SEC going to go full schedule. What does that look like, right? Now, as far as the offense goes, Aeneas Smith, again, Noah Thomas, Evan Stewart, Jalen Preston, Moose Muhammad. Like, where are those guys going to go? Obviously, the chain's gone. When you're looking at Aeneas, I believe Aeneas is one of those guys. I'm pretty sure he came back. So when you're looking at that, yeah. So when you're moving forward, you come in there, like, he'll have those guys. He's going to have that run. Also, UTEP wide receiver Tyron Smith's coming, right? So when you have Tyron Smith going to be there, overall, like, he should be okay in terms of like his offense if they put it all together. Now, QB3 for me is Cade Klubnik. And again, I know I'm probably going to get Clemson fans mad at me with this. I think Cade is 3. He's pretty interchangeable too. I feel like this is a tier. I think Weigman and Cade are pretty much a tier 2. So if you want to flip them, go ahead. Don't yell at me, but actually put in the comments so I get the SEO. But when you're looking at just what he did overall, game log 61 for 100, completion percentage 61%, right? So I do think there was times that, he didn't look great against Tennessee. North Carolina, he did. He should have started over DJU though. So I do know that, right? So Clemson fans, we do know that there. But against UNC, he came out, he threw the ball very well, but that was a porous defense. UNC had a really bad defense, 20 for 24, 279. And in Tennessee, 31-14 loss. And, he threw the ball 54 freaking times. That was part of like just game script flipped on them. They couldn't run the ball as well as they wanted to. And Tennessee got out to an early lead. 320 yards and 2 interceptions. He had 4 sacks against him. Rushing, though, he does have that rushing upside. So when you're looking at the rushing upside there, he had 51 yards and a touchdown. I think he does that. He's got confidence, too. So when you're looking at him overall, he did okay. Like, and I'm just going to put him here until I see that, okay, what can he do moving forward? I thought that Connor had more of a stronger arm at times, and I think that these two guys are really competing right now in terms of that QB2 spot in this class. But overall, when you're looking at Klubnik, what he does well, I think accuracy is pretty good. He's got good velocity too, but his accuracy really was pinpointed. Like, there was a couple interceptions, but a couple of them were like, jump throw, the weird stuff that was going on in terms of like what he did. I think that moving forward, he can get it to the intermediate area. He's got good touch. He's got good loft around those areas. Like, he can do that. Velocity, gets the ball out quick. Like, one thing about Cade has always been about that. I talked about him before. I highlighted him 2 years ago when I talked about Clemson's incoming class. His velocity stood out to me. Getting the ball out quick, doing those things. And I think he could be a playmaker outside the pocket. He's able to move. I think that this whole class is pretty good outside the pocket and be able to kind of throw on the run. Something that we're not used to seeing, but I think it's something that's highlighted pretty well. He steps up quick, gets the ball out quick. There's a couple great throws that he makes. Cole Turner made a diving grab in that Tennessee game that you have to watch. Like, his ability to kind of get it up there. Now, Size, hey, can he get over the 200 pound mark? You want to see him get a little bit bigger. Decision making, again, he had those 3 interceptions on the game. The Notre Dame one was bad. That kind of ended their game against them, kind of ended their hopes there in terms of what he could have done in that game. And he got benched right after that, 0 for 1, that touchdown for an interception, for a touchdown, excuse me. Then you have like pocket presence. I think sometimes he got a little knocked up a little bit in terms of like getting up into the pocket. He got knocked around a little bit, which affected him making those throws. So that's why he's QB3 for me, but again, interchangeable between Weigman and Klubnik there. Now, next tier is got the unknown, right? So here's the unknown. So first one's Devin Brown. Now, you could have Devin high. I've seen him as high as QB2 in this class, and I don't hate it. Like when you talk about Devin and what he's able to do, he's pretty special in terms of a quarterback. Like when I highlighted him, 4-star kid out of Utah, obviously committed to Ohio State. He originally committed to USC. He didn't have any stats because he didn't get in the game. Really, he got in one game, he ran one time. So we haven't seen that, but he was very, very sought after in terms of the quarterback position going forward. And when we talk about scouting wise, he's going to be in a quarterback battle, right? So one of his weaknesses here, it's going to be him or McCord. So what is that going to look like? Now, I would love for it to be Brown because I think Brown has more upside. I understand McCord and where he's at, but I would love for Brown to kind of get it. I don't think he's going to get it right away. His strengths, though, velocity, arm strength, athleticism. Man, he's got good zip. He got really good off-platform throws without losing velocity. He's got all those things that you like to see from him. Like, I think he makes this offense better. I think he's going to be really good for Ohio State if he gets the job. But on the flip end, decision-making, man, he threw a lot of interceptions, even in high school. So, and I think the one thing that they highlighted and they talked about is like his need to kind of make a big play all the time. That worries me a little bit, right? And in decision-making there, accuracy, those type of things. But he's got the arm strength and the athleticism and the velocity. Now, this is the one kid that I did want to show a little bit of highlights. I'm not going to watch a ton of highlights from his high school stuff, but I don't think a lot of people know who he is in terms of like what he can do as a prospect. So that's where his arm strength comes in right there. You'll see him push the ball down. Now, he knows he has a good arm. So what happens is he relies on a little bit. That's where those mistakes happen. Then you have this athleticism that you like to see too. Like I think he brings them a rushing impact if Ryan Day will let his quarterbacks run, right? Again, knows where he's going to go with the ball, good arm strength to the numbers. Like this excites me about. This is why I like Devin Brown so much, right? I wanted to make him higher on this list, but I can't if he's not going to start this year. Like I think you can project it. You know, those Ohio State quarterbacks are coming, but if he can't beat out Kyle McCord, and I'm going to be I'm a little bit nervous about that. I love this throw. I'm going to go back and watch this throw. I just love this shit. But let's go through this throw and see it. So again, he's stepping up in the pocket, gets a little pressure, able to kind of breaks the tackle off platform, delivers a freaking strike. That is like, I'll never forget where I was watching this tape. I saw that. I paused it. I watched it 50 times. I said, damn it. He's got talent. Like, and when he moved from USC over to Ohio State, I said, man, I wish he would just go somewhere else where he can start right away. But he's got the talent. He's got that arm strength. Like, I love this about him. Like, this is my favorite quarterback. I hate that he went to Ohio State because I'm a Michigan fan, but he's got the juice, man. He's got that it factor, and I really like him. But I wanted to show you a little bit of tape. I know we didn't really watch tape on the other guys, but a lot of those other guys you've already kind of seen throughout this. And he's got this athleticism, and I think Devin's right there. So that's why I kind of have him where I have him. Now, as far as QB5, and again, these are unknowns. I think Ty Simpson's got to get mentioned from Alabama. Kind of came in a little bit through 35 yards, nothing huge this year. Big prospect in terms of where we've talked about him as just a quarterback. Now, what I think the question mark, they still don't have a offense coordinator. So Alabama doesn't have an offensive coordinator. Obviously, they lost theirs to Bill O'Brien to the Patriots, which isn't a bad thing. Like, let's not pretend like Bill was very good, right? He was okay. I think they held back that offense a little bit. They've kind of going through like a coaching change, especially there. They're going to go through a weapons change. They've lost a little bit of guys to the portal. Now they've gotten some guys as well. So you're going to see that. He's going to be in a quarterback battle too. Jalen Milroe is there, right? So when we're looking at just overall, what is that going to be? So inexperience for me with Ty. QB battle as well. Like, can he go win that job? But there are times where so a little inside stuff that they've talked about with Alabama during the bowl prep that they had this last time before their bowl game, before Kansas State game, they were using Milroe as like a wide receiver. They were using him in different ways. And so if that's the case, part of me thinks that maybe they're going to go with Ty. Maybe Ty is their guy. Maybe Ty Simpson's going to be that guy. Obviously, he's going to have that QB battle there, but maybe they think that he gives them a better upside in terms of where he goes. Now, I like Ty. Like, in terms of like what he was when I watched his tape in high school, I thought he gets the ball quick. He was a heavy producer in high school. Like, he produced more than probably a lot of people that I saw. in terms of just special arm. Like he is just big arm, and he has athleticism too. He's not crazy out there. And I think mechanic wise, he's going to get better there. But those three strengths for him, our strengths, instincts, and functional athleticism will bring something special to this offense. So he's someone you have to highlight here, right? Now, the last guys that I want to talk about is on the radar prospects. Walker Howard transferred from LSU over to Ole Miss. I think you just got to be out there just based on the, what 247 Sports had him. Ja'Carry Brown, Nick Evers went to Wisconsin. He's probably going to have to sit another year. Gunnar Stockton's out there for Georgia. What the hell is going to happen with Georgia in that quarterback race? Brady Allen, Caden Hauser. Like, there's some guys out there that you want to do. I think the one guy that I'm really interested in is Brown. Like, what is Miami's depth chart? Miami's not very good, right? They weren't very good last year. And that offense, again, they lost Gaddis, but again, that's probably an addition with, by subtraction. Tyler Van Dyke's coming back. We saw Tyler's ceiling. Do they really roll with that? Obviously, they wanted him back because that's why they have him there. I thought he would transfer. He didn't. I really like Ja'Cory. I think he could be very good. 6'4", 210. People forget how big he is, like in terms of what he was able to do. I think 14 different, I think he ran the ball over 100 yards, 14 different games in varsity. So he has that rushing upside that you like to see. He's a drive ball guy, so he's going to go through there, but he's really gotten better. 4.6 40 is where he got clocked the senior season, so he has that athleticism. I think he's a high ceiling prospect. Like, I think he really is. I think he could come in there and use that. I wouldn't be shocked to see Miami kind of maybe go to him. Obviously, he didn't have the season that, maybe we all thought he could have, but I think he could be very good for this team. Like, when you're just looking at him as a prospect, like, he's fun to me. Obviously didn't get in a ton of games, 27 for 45, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So we saw that. But against that Georgia Tech game was the one that you saw. He was 14 for 19, 136 yards and 3 touchdowns. But there are definitely a lot of question marks about Ja'Cory and like what he is moving forward. So I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. So these are our top 5 quarterbacks of the 2025 class and some guys to watch on the radar. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know what you think. How would you rank them? Give me your rankings in the comments. What are your top 5 guys? I appreciate you guys. I will check you guys next time.